are today, Thorp Park, on an absolute freezing day. We've had snow, sleet, had the lot thrown at us, but it still should be a decent day for pike. If you get in the right spot where the pike are, there's no reason at all why you still shouldn't have a good day. We're right up the top end of Thorp Park today. It's very narrow, and what's happened is the pike have come up here, they've got all this year's fry herded up, and the fish are coming off the depths into this shallow water and feeding on the small fish. Water's about 4 to 5 foot deep here. It's tapering off to 12, 13, 14 foot. What seems to be happening, the pike are down in the deeper water, they're resting there, then when they're on their feed, up they come, hit the fish. This is where we're going to fish. We're going to put the baits here, should catch a few fish. Just because it's cold, what I would start by saying is wear the right gear. In any of your tackle shops, you're going to get waterproof jacket, waterproof suit, thermal boots, and of course a hat. Hat's most important. A lot of the heat's lost through your head, and on a day like this, the most important thing is not catching the fish if you're freezing cold. Enjoy the day and be nice and warm. Let's have a look slightly around the lake a bit more. The far peg against the fence and the reeds is the windward end of the lake. It'll push a lot of fry, a lot of roach, perch, etc. down onto that bank. And with a bit of luck, pike will have followed it. And it's some time of the day. If we don't catch here, we might just pop down there, but at least I can keep my eye on that water, on that stretch of water, and perhaps a drifty dead bait. Even from here, a great distance down to there, a drifted dead bait might produce the goods. Coming up the water, we've got another nice peg. That's a gravel bed bar that is spanning out through the water. And pike will be on that bar. When the fish come over the bar, if there's a bait there, then we've got a chance of having a fish. Coming up the water again, this is a real nice peg. And if you're nice and quiet, I always fancy places like this to catch fish. A lot of pike anglers with modern day gear nowadays, modern reels, rods, are geared up to cast a long way. There's no need to cast 100 yards to catch pike. If you're nice and quiet, pike will be sitting right under those reeds. So approach the swim, chuck a bait just over the end. Sometime through the day, I bet you'll get a pick up there. And the last swim is right up the top there, right under those willows. If the pike are coming off the depths onto the shallows, as they move up, all the fry will actually be driven right up to those willows. And on the shallow water, if we keep our eyes out, when a pike's attacking up there, we'll see fry shoot out the water as the pike disperses them. If it happens, we'll get a rod, we'll shoot up there and catch the pike that's actually eating the roach and pike. Traditionally, pike anglers over the years have used the old Gazette float. I don't know why, because the float is absolutely rubbish for the job. It's too big, the shape of it is very fat, which causes a lot of resistance, and I don't even own one, so I can't show you. That's how much I rate them. In my box, I've got a range of modern day floats designed by the modern specialist angler. Let's just go through a few of them. Here's a veined float. This is for putting a bait underneath, greasing the line and letting the wind catch the vein, and that drifts along. That was typical float that I would use for trying to fish at range down at that swim that we were talking about on the wind. It's a very good modern day float. Here's one for fishing in very windy conditions. I'd put that down, let it down so that this balsa body is under the waves, making it a lot more stable, and it's very visual at distance. Very streamlined, so when the pike takes, there's less resistance. A lot better than the old Fishing Gazette float. Float that, if I use a very large bait, like a whole mackerel or something like that, and I want to drift it or leave it stationary, in fact, that's the type of float that I would use. It's quite a large. Nice and streamlined, would go under nice and easy. Small float that I use, and I know that people laugh when I say this, that I use a sunken float paternoster. Now, by the very fact that it's a float, you would think that it's up on the top. I'll show you later that this float on the rig is actually fished under the water. The reason it's used underwater is because, for a start, the line is coming down at a much shallower effect rather than right up to the top of the water, and it makes it easier for direct striking. The other thing is, for such a small float, the full buoyancy is being used to hold the bait in the position that I will show in the rigs. And last but not least, there's a drifter float. That's a cracking float for drifting long distances away from the area that you're sitting, and that'll drift. I've taken fish up to 100, 120 yards on that particular float. Okay, those are some of the modern floats. Let me show you some of the rigs that we put them on. In modern day angling, there's absolutely hundreds of rigs. I use very few of them. To be honest, I like to keep my fishing very, very simple, and the 4 rigs that I'm about to show you is probably what I catch 95% of my fish. All the rigs are dead simple. I don't have many hooks and many floats and swivels and snap links, etc, etc. I keep it nice and simple. This is a great favourite of mine. It's a free line bait. Small dead roach or small dead fish like a sprat or something like that on this rig is an absolute fish producer. Let's go through the rig. What I've got a stop knot here set at the depth that I want the bait to fish. From that point down to the hooks is the depth that this rig will fish. Bead comes up, that stops the float going over the knot. The float slides up to that, and I put another bead just above the swivel to stop the float actually getting tangled onto the swivel. My trace, I use 2 traces. I use an up trace, which is about 15 or 16 inches of wire. That's all it is, crimped with a swivel at either end, and that's just an up trace. And why I call it an up trace, it's up above the fish itself. So if a fish does come up and the pike takes it there, it's not going to bite my line, my main line. It's got wire in its teeth, so it's not going to break the line. Down to the main trace itself, what I usually do is I put a snap link there so that if I want the rod away from the fish when I'm unhooking it, all I need to do is snap that and away comes the trace. The trace is very simple. I've got a swivel, 2 hooks, and again I crimp the wire rather than twist. 2 size 6, 8 or 10 trebles depending on the bait I'm using. I put a couple of swan shots onto the trace just to help sink the bait and cock the float. Very simple, nothing special, catches a lot of fish. Okay, let me show you my second rig. Again, it's for free line baits or sink and draw, a method that I catch a lot of pike on, and I'll show you the method itself working later on. All this is treble on the one end and a double hook farther up. Again, crimped trace, dead simple. Most of my piking, in fact most of my fishing is simple. I keep it simple. That's all. I'll show you how to put the baits on later. Dead simple rig, and a very successful rig. Let's look at number 3. This is my ledger rig. Again, very simple. Just one small trace, 2 hooks, exactly the same as on the free line. But what I've got here is a bead stopping this boom coming down onto the swivel, but there's something special about this boom. This boom, it's a Kevin Nash boom, this floats. So when it's on the water, it actually goes in and actually floats up like that. So if there's any debris on the floor of the bed of the lake, then this will sit up above it, and the taking pike has no resistance of any debris at all. That is a very, very useful item of tackle. That's my ledger rig. And last of all, this is the sunken paternoster rig I was telling you about earlier. Little trace, again, just 2 hooks, I don't use 3 hooks and 4 hooks and fancy hook rigs. I've hooked a lot of pike. I've not lost that many just with this rig. Simplicity itself. Gosh, it's getting colder. Up trace again. That's again if the fish comes over the top whilst it's being taken by the pike. If the pike gets that in its mouth as well, we're not going to cut through any line because we've got an up trace on there. And there's the little float. And the distance from there down to the bomb is less than the depth of the water. I.e., if I'm fishing 10 foot of water, I would set that stop knot to my ledger weight at about 5 foot. So the full buoyancy of the float is holding the bait off the bottom. I usually put that stop knot right over the top, so that's nice and tight. You see, there's no movement at all. It's just holding there nice and tight. Those are the rigs. Let's put some bait on them and start fishing. Okay, let's put a dead bait on and let's try and catch a few fish. Let's have a look in my box of goodies. Cooler pack, I keep those in the freezer. I always put them in there, it keeps the bait nice and fresh. I bring a lot of dead baits with me. Various species, various sizes. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is they buy half a dozen mackerel or a pound of sprats, take them fishing, and if the fish are not taking the sprat or the mackerel, they're not going to catch fish. You can cast a bait out, half a mackerel, it can be out all day, you're not going to take. You could put a sprat on that same day and get fish every chuck. So bring a varied selection with you. Let's have a look in my box of goodies here. Right, first off, these are smelt. They've been very, very successful over about the last 4 or 5 years. Not a bait that was used before then, but it is a very, very good bait. Smells like cucumber. Small trout. I use these for dead bait, sink and draw, because they're very tough. You can cast them out all day and they don't break up. Very tough skinned little trout. Expensive to buy, but well worth it if you want to catch a big fish. Roach. You can buy roach out of a lot of fish markets. You buy fish up to a pound, pound and a half. I like baits about that size. People use big baits, but to be honest, I have more problems than sink a boat with it, because what you do is you tend to miss a lot of fish. And if you're missing fish, what you tend to do then is wait longer for the take, and there's every chance then you could deep hook the pike, which is not the done thing. A grayling, again, I bought these from the fish market. Smashing little bait, these. Smells of cucumber, exactly the same as smelt. Can't get them very often. When you see them at the market, or you've got a chance of a trout fishery that's being cleared out of these fish on a netting or electro netting, try and get your hands on some of these. They are a real good bait. Sardines, very smelly, oily bait. I like those on the bottom in the winter. Attracts a lot of fish. Golden oldie, the mackerel. It's about the size I like. Cut those in half for half mackerel. But even if I'm using them whole, what I do is I'll get a knife and just pierce them, get more sent out into the water. Or just put little slits down, because what you want is that oil into the water. Another roach, another grayling. This is a nice bait. Produced a lot of big fish over the last couple of years. This is a sand eel. I'll get one out. Cracking bait, this. Catches a lot of big fish. Casts a long, long way. Beautiful. Oh, my hands are freezing now. It's cold enough anyway, but messing with these. Here's a bigger mackerel. I think that's about it. We've got some small fish. Those are nice little fish. If they're fry feeding, chuck one of those out. That pitch up the top there, where they're after the fry, that might just be the thing, some sink and draw to catch the fish. Another grayling. I think that's about it. Oh, we've got some half macks. And that's about it. And some small herrings as well. Okay, what I'm going to do, let's go for one of my favourites first. We'll put a smelt on this rig here, and we'll ledger a smelt right out by that tree. Let's go and put it on and cast it. It's about 20 Canadian geese just come down on the water there, you can see. I remember when I started fishing about 20 odd years ago, I rarely saw those birds. I used to see a lot more swans. And now there seems to be hundreds of those. And on some of the waters that there's literally hundreds of these. They seem to have moved swans off. Very aggressive bird. Make a mess of the bank as well, to be honest. But they're Nice looking bird, I don't think they'll bother us too much. Okay, let's cast this out. See, a lot of people putting a lot of effort into casting and getting nowhere. Let's just go through the very basics of casting. The one hand here, this hand pushes, and at the same time, this hand is pulling, right? So that's where the cast is, push, pull. So many people seem to cast with just the one hand. You're losing all the power. Losing all the power. Here we go. Right, let's cast. Bail arm over. Line where we're going to cast. Right by those trees. Lovely. In it goes. Let the line sink. Sink the line so that we get rid of the drift. Back to the setup. Now the setup that I use, what I'm using here, this is an optonic. And what happens is there, as the fish moves away, the beam is broken and it makes that noise. So I've got an indication that the fish is actually moving away. What I do here, come back here and we put what we call a drop-off indicator. And what that does is if the fish comes towards us, like that, this weight will take that, bringing that line through there, so we get this like that. If we get a take, it does that and comes off. Okay, there we go. Just wind that up to there. Come out quite easily, but that's how I want it. I don't want much resistance from the pike. So up again, nice and gently, nice and gently. Smack on. Now we're ready. Now we're going to cast our other one out. Right, let's set the other one up. This one's going to be the sunken float paternoster. We'll put a small trout on here. In fact, they do like trout in here because a few years ago, Thorp Park had a trout cage in the water, and the trout cage ripped and a lot of these fish escaped into the water, so they are used to eating trout. We'll see if they like eating that one. And the sun's gone in again. Let's just cast this one out. Give this a fair chuck to the far side, be nice and quiet over there. Nice and easy lob. There you go, right over to that far side. Drag it back, sink the line again, same procedure as the last one. There you go. Back into the rest, onto the optonic again, onto the clip. That optonic will shut up in a minute. There we go. Now we're ready for a take. Both rods. Let's tidy up a bit and we'll sit down and wait for a take. Keep those nice and fresh. Right, we've tidied that up. Let's have a nice sit down. Hang on a second, was that? Sit down and go. I don't know if that was a take actually. It is a take. Hey up, we haven't had to wait long. Hey up, here we go. Look at that. Yeah, look, here's taking line. Taking line nicely. Nicely. Here we go. That is taking line, very nice. I'm going to hit this virtually straight away because it's only a small bait. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good fish, that. That just... That feels like a good fish. Feels nice and... Oh, Jesus, see that flick? Pike do that quite regularly, actually, eat the tail on the line. That's coming nice, there we go. Right. Okay, coming in. Here we go. Should be in close in a bit. It's a nice fish, that. Feel that? That's coming through weed. That. Yep. Here we go. Keep yourself nice and low. Look at that. Hey up. Woohoo! Let him go. Didn't like that, did he? Or she. All the big ones are she's. This is a nice fish, this. Mid-range double, 20, something like that. Feels a nice heavy fish. Okay. Let's work the way to the net. Get the nest nice. Here we go. Should be far away now. That's a good fish, that. Oh yeah, hang on, we're onto a good fish, yep. Nice fish. It's going to be mid-range doubles, this. I've slowed it down a bit now, but he's still... He ain't far done now, he's nearly done. It's a nice fish, this. Very nice fish. Oh yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. This is a nice kipper. Nearly done. No, he ain't, not quite. Get him, he's pulling this string or what? Come on, my beauty. About time we got done. You ain't far away. In the net we go. Yes! I thought it was going to come out of the net then. Yeah. Yeah. Lovely fish, that. Look at that. That is a nice fish. Look at that for a fish. Forceps, there they are. It's a real nice fish, that. Pretty looking fish as well. Look at that. Beautiful. Look nice. See? Just get the one out. That one's in nicely. Nicely done. Put that over there. Look, I've lost my bomb. Just a tip here. I usually put a knot in my line so it makes it weak on that paternostered rig. Because if it gets in a snag, which obviously it's done, it's broke there, I haven't lost the fish. What I've done is only lost the line. That is a nice fish. Obviously a few fish coming on now. Zero the scales, so get a true reading. Right, that's it. Put the fish in. Don't be frightened of the pike. Remember what I told you about that V? Put the fingers up. In you go. He ain't gonna bite you. It's never such a nice fish, this. Scales. We stand up and weigh it. Yep, nice fish, 14 1/4. Nice double. Yep. Pike fishing isn't all about big fish. But it's nice to catch a few. That's a lovely fish, look at that. Let's put it straight back. It's a lovely looking fish. It's lean. As a lot of pike are this time of the year. But up on these shallows, as well as hunting the fry, within the next couple of months, it'll be spawned and it'll be absolutely full of thousands and thousands of eggs. It'll look a lot fatter then. A very, very pretty fish. Shall we return it now? Say goodbye for the day. Okay. Keep it low to the ground, so if you did happen to drop it, you're not gonna do a big distance. Here we go. Let's put it over. It's a bit dodgy trying to return here. We'll just slip it over the reeds. It's a lovely fish, yep. Here we go. And again, nice fish. Let's get the bait out quick. I think we've got a few kippers round. What I'm going to do now might seem a little strange, because I've just caught a fish straight away on a static dead bait. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and imitate a live bait, because there's a few fish obviously moving in, and some nice fish at that. And what I'm going to do is try and imitate a live bait. That's a roach. Same hooking again, look. Small hook in there, hook in the flank. I wish the sun would make up its mind. It's like in, out, sleeting, snowing, then light, dark. But we're catching fish anyway. Let's cast this out and we'll do a sink and draw method. You say the experts don't get in a tangle. Right, we're in. We'll cast over the same sort of area, just on the shelf where the fish are coming up. Okay, nice gentle cast. Nice gentle cast. Let it sink. What I do is I do the countdown method here. The bait's going down. I'm counting 5, 6, 7, 8, and I'm starting to retrieve. Now the reason I've counted that is on the retrieve, I know how far it's gone down 8 seconds. I'm retrieving. If I do catch a fish, what will happen is I know the next cast out at the level they are, and I'll count 8. Lift the rod up, let the bait drop, stop. Just make the bait look as realistic as possible. Imagine it's a dying fish. Big old pike's after a slow moving fish. You don't want to be chasing around all over the place. You'd rather pick up this very, very slow, sickly looking roach. Hopefully. That was nice. No weed, so we were over the top of the weed. Oh, it's blowing a gale now. Woo. That's winter fishing, I'm afraid. As I said earlier, this is where the clothes, good top quality clothes, come into their own to keeping you nice and warm. Counting again, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's have another go. I'll have 2 at 8, 2 at 6, 2 at 10. Let one rest on the bottom, searching all the water. Then when you get takes, stick at that. You don't get any more takes, then just vary it. Just keep fishing all around the water. Here we go. Nice, easy. Makes casting quite easy now, this wind. Probably one of the most underestimated methods, sink and draw. I've took more fish on this method than any other method, and yet a lot of pike anglers never use it. I think the main reason a lot of guys don't use it is they have to get off the chair and actually move. And I admit, on a cold day like this, it can be a bit unpleasant standing here in the wind, but we've come to catch pike. If you want to catch pike, then get your hands cold, get your bum off the chair. And again, we'll count to 4, 4, 5. Let's try a slightly slower retrieve. Slightly. Just touched a bit of weed then. Bit of a faster retrieve. Hang on, I'm in here. Here, look. Here we go, look. What you do when you get the take, oh, that's going off, right, well, look at this. Right, what we're going to do, that's just in his mouth nice. Let's just hurt him a bit. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Hey, we're in. That's another nice fish. Some nice fish moved in. Oh, way up, he's on a run. Yeah, this is tremendous. That's what piking's all about. Get that for a run. Stopped. Never be too... you know. Pike rolling over. Just banged on the line. It rolls over the line. That's nice. Ah, he's coming now. Yeah. It's another nice fish. Tremendous. Right. Let's move over here again. Get the net right. Oh, he didn't like that, did he? Oof. Another nice fish, this. Hang on. There's some really nice fish coming now. It's coming in now. Here we go. Right. We ain't far away from netting now. There he is, the fish is just there. He's kited to the left, look. To the right, sorry. Yep. Oh, well. Nice fish. Let's just get the net. Look at him. Whoa. Thorp pike fish. They really fight well. I mean, that's fought well from right over there. Yeah, nearly ready, look. Just shows what a well-run fishery can produce. Yep. Look at that. Let's get this out. That's out. There you go. Another nice fish. Typical of all the fish that we've had today. Sleek, long and thin, no spawn yet. As I say, within a couple of weeks, 6 weeks, 2 months, these fish will be fattening up, eating the fry and filling up a spawn. Another beautiful fish. Hard fighting fish. Let's get it back in. It's played its part in today. Let's give us a bit of fun. Let's treat it with the respect it deserves and put it straight back. Slide it across. All of, no problem. Back none the worst. There it goes. Away nice and safe. If a fish ever turns up sideways, just grab it, hold it up straight. Within a couple of minutes, it'll soon revive and power off. Never just let a fish go straight off, because if it comes up in the centre, then you can't get it back. So make sure it's up straight, right in the corner here, right in the side, then let it off. Let's get another bait out. Looks like we're in for a few fish. Hey, look at that. It's a little fish, but it's a fit fish. Gone well for a little fish. Look at it. What a game little scrapper. Look at that. Smashing little fish. It's got a flying hook, so what we're going to do is, like when I lure fish, I'm going to try and land this without actually using the net, because if I use the net on this fish, it's going to be all tangled up, so we've got to do a bit of clever moving here. Here we go. Straight in, onto the reeds. Grab him. Lovely. How about that? Right. One hook up. But as you see, I couldn't use the net because that hook, that flying hook, would have caught, lovely, would have caught in the net and would have done a great deal of damage. If you look here, where a pike, a bigger pike, has actually grabbed the small pike. Fair old fish to do that. It's a big old female done that. But I was talking to Jack Ashford just before we started this session, and he said that a couple of weeks ago, a big fish, 12 pound, had been grabbed by a very large pike. Got a feeling that might be the same one. Let's put him back anyway. I think he's lucky to be alive by the look of that. let's just leave over the top. Over you go. Away you go. Right, let's get some rods back in the water. Gosh, windy now. But we're into another fish. Yep. That's another. That feels a fit. Oh, that's kiting, hang on. That's kiting right into the weed. Right, it has gone windy as well. Oh, look at this. That's going a bit. Cool. I was about to say that's a small fish, but might be a better fish actually. It keeps trying to kite into the reeds. Look at it. Oh dear. Yeah, we're back out again now. God, action's quick fast now, isn't it, eh? Cool. Having won a chuck. It's not a big fish, but look at it fight. Look at that. That's beautiful. Can't ask any more of a fish than that. Look at it run away. Go. Incredible. That's a really fit fish. Look at that. Nice fish. Oh, look at how long and slim that fish is. It's about to go, it ain't ready yet. Don't ever be in a rush to land a fit fish. Get it nicely rolled over. Look at that. That is a lean, mean pike. Look at it go. Hey, we're ready. No, it ain't. Look at that. They don't have to be big pike to fight. That's into double figures. Look at that. I think she's about ready now. Get the net in. Lovely fish. Yep. We got her. Bit dodgy trying to land fish here. Yep. That's another nice thorp double. Look at that for a fish. Life ain't bad, is it really? Cool. Everyone's a double. Hook nicely, look. Here we go. I'm just gonna look a bit. Right. If you look down the throat of this pike, look, we've got a growth there, see? Don't bang it on the edge just because it's got a growth like that. Quite a few pike, you'll see, have lumps and bumps on it. No problem at all. Some of the things it can eat sometimes. You might have had a perch, spine's gone in there, and it's festered up. Leave it, nature will take its course. I'm certainly not going to cut it off or remove it. Yeah. Hell of a long fish. Mid-range double, be a big double, very big double when it's got some girth on it. But you can see why it fought. It's long, lean, mean, it's like a tiger. Cracking fish. Let's put him back. Lovely fish. Yeah. Keep it nice and straight. Here we go. Beautiful. Don't worry if a pike just goes to the bottom really close in after you've returned it. It'll probably just head into the nearest clump of weeds and sulk there for an hour, and then off it'll go.
Hello, Des. How's it going?
A bit colder here. Yeah, we've had a load of sport, Jeff. Doubles of fun.
Oh, you've had some fish?
Oh yeah, lots of fish. You wouldn't think so many fish could get in such a small area. It's been super.
Oh, well, that's fine.
Super.
Not too bad then.
Great.
Good.
How's the old membership going?
Very well, actually, very well. I hope it's going to stay that way next year because we're making some changes next year.
What's that, Jeff?
Well, we're beginning to feel a bit strongly about pollution and some of these other problems, and what we're trying to do is to help the ACA.
Yes.
Basically. So what we're going to do is to put £1 on every permit that we sell, and that's going to the ACA. That means it'll guarantee them at least £10,000
Cool.
every year.
Every year?
Every year.
Oh, well, that's got to be tremendous.
So I just hope that our members will support us in doing this. I think they should certainly care about their fishing.
Yeah.
And it's the one body that does do everything for the angler.
Be nice to see the other associations around the country follow your lead.
Well, this is what I'm hoping, that other people would do the same as we are.
If the big organisations in the Midlands or North follow your lead, then the ACA are going to be...
That will support them.
Very rich.
All the way.
That'd be great. Great idea.
Yeah, fine.
Great idea.
OK, Des, well, I'll leave you to it because I've got to shove back.
OK.
But perhaps I'll see you over there a bit later.
See you back in the lodge in about half an hour.
OK.
See you. See you, Jeff. Watch how you go. Oh, I'm in. That's still paying out nice. Let's hope this is a good fish. This time of night, you can pick up some very good fish. No, I didn't wait too long. Here we go. Yep. Oh, cool. Is that weeded, mate? No. Ooh, that feels a better fish. Hang on a second. Yep. That is... Oh, yeah, devil. Fin come through the weed. Oh, yeah. Yep, this is a good fish. This fish is right in close now. It's took me straight into the reeds. Look at the reed on it, look. That is a big kipper. Look at that. Oh. Jesus, that is a big fish. That is a very, very big fish. A big, big fish. That might go a magical mark. Oh, yeah. Look at that for a fish. You know, that might go £20. That might just go £20. Cool, look at that for a fish. It's tremendous. That is a proper Thorp Park fish. Nicely hooked. Lovely. Let's just weigh that up. Cool. I think that's a £20 fish. Yeah. The amount of times I've had 15, 16, 17 £, fish at Thorp Park just as it's getting dark is unbelievable. Big fish seem to move at Thorp quite late. Be nice to end the day with a 20. Let's see what we've got here. I think it's going to be a welly. 21 £. What a beautiful fish. Oh, what a way to end the day. It's all come right after absolute freezing start. Look what we've ended the day with. Some doubles and then this thing. What a lovely little creature. That's my blood. She's not hurt, but I am. Oh, it's tremendous. Look, she's just caught me thumb with a tooth, but I ain't gonna cuss her because she's a absolutely cracking fish. Oh, look at that. £20 a fish. What every pike angler dreams of. Absolutely beautiful. Let's put her back. And I'll tell you what, it's going to rain again in a minute. And I'll tell you what I'm doing. After this, I'm going home. Let's get it back. Oh, that is the way to finish the day. Absolutely beautiful. Absolute cracker. And away strong. Beautiful. Away you go. Great. Well, that's it. It's been a great day at Thorp. A day to remember. Another 20 under the belt. Absolutely incredible. Let's clear up.